weekend for the Clippers, for the Rockets. But I got to tell you guys, I just did a little slip there, because let's take a look at the standings. By God, that is the Los Angeles Clippers music. Greeny, the Clippers won 13 of 16, and they moved from 8th to 8th. Then these things happened over the weekend, and look at the tiebreaker. The tiebreaker favors the Clippers. They zoomed from 8th to 5th. And what is a four-way tie now in the Western Conference? And I got to tell you, Kawhi Leonard, he has played brilliantly. He has 10 straight 20-point games. He is, during the stretch of 14 out of 17 victories for the Clippers, he is averaging 53% shooting. When he and James Harden are on the floor, they're awesome. They just couldn't make up any ground in the standings. But now they've zoomed forward because of the tiebreaker. Watch out if the Clippers get up to that 5 seed.
I love the enthusiasm. You can hear it in the voice of Windy as we enter what should be a wild final week of the regular season. Jay Will, make some sense of it for me. What do you see as the most important things? You got teams going this way. You got teams going that way. What's the number one thing on your mind, Jay Will, in the West?
Breaking news, Greeny, just off what Windy just said, Kawhi Leonard has just played a back-to-back.
Yeah.
That's a mic drop. Right? Like, think about that. Like, a guy that's been injured as much as he has, finding that rhythm and that offensive swag combined with him and James Harden, they are a dangerous team. And I think that people have forgotten, Windy, that on both sides of the ball, when he is healthy, I'm not sure there are too many players in the game of basketball that are better than Kawhi Leonard. I know that's a massive caveat, but right now, that man is playing like a healthy Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah, look, I mean, if I had a dime for every time I've said, if Kawhi Leonard is healthy, watch out for this team,
I hear you.
I would be a very rich man. That said, Windman, how about it? If you were to put into perspective what will get decided this week, what are the things we should be watching most closely?
Greeny, right now there's a four-way tie for 5th place. But it's really a 5-way tie, because the Nuggets have one extra win. Once that gets computed, once you figure that the Nuggets are in that tiebreaker, because they essentially are, they slide all the way to 7th. It doesn't show, but I promise you, the Nuggets are effectively right now in 7th. They have completely lost their leverage with this losing streak. And so somebody is going to be in the outside looking in, and somebody is going to zoom up. Right now, the zoom uppers are the Lakers and the Clippers, and the zoom downers are the Nuggets.
And how about at the very top, Jay Will, should we be taking Houston? Windy brought up, it's all along, it's been about OKC, and Houston is the team everyone should want to play. Well, maybe after this weekend it doesn't feel that way. Should we be taking that young team more seriously? Quickly.
I love Houston. I after watching the game yesterday, though, even though Maine Thompson did a good job on Steph Curry, I still believe that Steph Curry will make shots. Look, these teams have lightning rods. If Steph Curry gets hot, if Luka gets hot, they are dangerous teams to contend for world championships.
All of this is going to get settled. The last day of the season is Sunday. What a wild logs to play Florida tonight. My uncle Seth Greenberg, okay. No relation, is up with us this morning trying to console
I don't think so.
the Duke legend, Jay Williams.
Okay, you'll be fine.
Jay Will, because my life is... My life is overrun with Dukies, so I've been hearing a lot of this for the last 36 hours. If you, beyond the emotion of it, which obviously was startling, how do you explain it? How do you explain what happened to Duke in the final minutes of that game against Houston?
Greeny, subjectively, right? I'm taking my analyst hat off. I was sick. I was sick. It was... I've been a part of a miraculous comeback down 22 versus Maryland. And one of the things that Seth and I constantly talked about with Duke was when you have a lack of reps in real game situations, real game pressure, it's hard to finish old when you don't have the experience. And what we saw from Duke is they finished young. These were plays inbounding the basketball, making a free throw, the end of the game with Cooper Flagg, running some type of action to use him as a decoy or something. This was a team that was super talented, but as a Duke fan, it made my stomach turn 10 times over. That's the only way I can sum it up, Greeny.
Seth, what did you say?
That's literally, he was sick.
Yeah.
Look, I understand what happened on Duke's side, but I'll tell you what about Houston's side? Because with a minute to go, they're down 6 points. And Kelvin Sampson didn't foul. He trusted his defense. He trusted his culture. I mean, it was a technical foul that put him up down 6. And all they did was Tugler, who got the technical, shot block, come down the other end, knock down a 3. I mean, they made winning plays. Yeah, Duke helped them. Obviously, when you have a comeback, the other team has to help you. But I also have to give some credit to what Houston did. And the great quote I thought was, no one ever loses as long as you don't quit. And that's kind of a mantra for Houston basketball. Did Duke help them? No doubt about it. How did they help them? Because Houston imposed their identity. Offensive rebound, forced a turnover, made a big 3. Their toughness at the end of the game exceeded basically Duke's inability to, like Jay Will said, game pressure is real. And you have a team that hadn't experienced that. It was part Houston and part Duke. It wasn't just all Duke's collapse.
That last shot that you saw there, for any of you who didn't see the end of the game, that was Duke's last opportunity with the young superstar Cooper Flagg walking off the court for, we would assume, the last time as a collegian. And so it will be Florida and Houston for the championship tonight. Jay Will, Florida led by Walter Clayton Jr. I mean, my goodness, he has been unbelievable in this tournament. He has the last player to score 30 points in back-to-back games this deep in the tournament was Larry Bird in 1979. That's how good Walter Clayton Jr. has been. What do we say about him today as he gets set to play for the title tonight?
Greeny, over the last 2 days, I probably had talked to about 6 or 7 scouts, and a lot of scouts are starting to firmly believe that he could crack the top 10. I have to tell you, from watching him up close, I could make a case that he could be the 2nd or 3rd pick in the NBA draft. I know Dylan Harper, I know Ace Bailey, they have a ton of talent. But the run this guy is on, the shots he makes, combine Dame Lillard with Steph Curry, I'm not saying he's going to reach the pinnacle of who those players are, but his game to me seems like a marriage between the two. He is prolific offensively. I don't know if I've seen a hotter player in an NCAA tournament than Walter Clayton Jr. thus far.
Who does it remind you of, Seth? You made a good comparison.
Spirit.
Yeah, you made a good comparison. What kind of run is he on?
He's on a Kemba Walker type run. I mean, that's it. He's basically baby Kemba, but he's doing it at almost a higher level. And look, Kemba scored. If this guy scores, he makes plays. His poise at the end of games is absolutely ridiculous. I compare it to his football background. He just gets to the next play, gets back in the huddle, and gets to the next play. But this Kemba run and what this kid's done is absolutely incredible. The shots he takes, and not only does he make the shots, but then he gets to the next play, turns around and gets to the next play. His poise is incredible, very similar to Kemba. We know what Kemba did. He led his team to a national championship. Walter Clayton is poised to do the same thing for Florida. He's got a tough competition in terms of dealing with that physical Houston defense.
All right, yeah, well, Seth, you were the one who told me at the beginning of this thing to take Florida to win the whole thing, so I did. So there were moments I wasn't feeling so good on Saturday night, but here we are. We will look ahead to the championship.
Xin chào tất cả mọi người đã quay trở lại với kênh của mình. Ngày hôm nay mình sẽ tiếp tục hướng dẫn các bạn làm vòng. Vòng hôm nay của mình sẽ có tiêu đề là cà chua. Mọi người hôm nay vòng của mình sẽ có tiêu đề là cà chua xanh. Bây giờ mình bắt đầu làm nhé. Đây nha mọi người. Đây là mọi người. Cái bóng vàng.